What up, though? What up, though?
Yeah.
It's your man El Primo sliding through this thing again with my homie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We back with there's been so much going on in the world as you've seen the last couple of lives we did. They've been dealing with everything as it's developed. This is something we have been wanting to speak on because it's a lot of nuances in this one.
Yeah, that it is. I mean, thought hit me with this joint, and I was like, "Wow, man! I hadn't even,
Yeah.
thought about it that way." And the concepts in this joint is real hell of a, but it's a nice change of pace from what we've been talking about to just, let the family see that we have a big palette. We can take on a number of topics, and hopefully the family can indulge and enjoy it the same.
Oh, definitely, definitely. But it's crazy to me how much controversy has come from that interview, though.
It's been a lot of controversy for that, even to the point that they talking about trying to cancel the man for just saying that he's trying to raise his boys up to be men.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane that's where we at with it.
I mean, it's
That's where society is with it.
yeah. I mean, everything is just being redefined right before our face, and I guess our the way we were raised is, I guess it would be named more traditional
Yeah,
now
facts.
versus the
Facts.
way things are now.
Yeah. And that's what I've noticed. Like having young children, I see how people parent now versus like how I was parented. And I'm like, yo, y'all fooling.
Yeah, it's much difference. I mean, even the things that you can and can't say. I mean, there's a divide between me and my younger kids because they think just everything I say is just so inappropriate. you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, extremely insensitive. But that's like when I realized I was officially older, was when the things that I say were like super offensive to young people. I was like, oh, this is what older people were talking about. Like,
Yeah,
all right, now I get it.
and it's for me. It's crazy because sometimes when you see like people of alternative lifestyle or same sex individuals, you go up normally, what, I guess, pronoun or how to address this person, and
Yeah.
I'm confused and stuck sometimes, like because I don't know whether to call them ma'am, sir, or do I ask the preference, or so I'm like a dinosaur out here right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. It's like I'm cool with calling you whatever you identify as. Like it don't matter to me. Like if that's what you need to be called, cool. But is it something I'm actively thinking about? And it's not because I have malicious intent with it or that I don't care. It's just that's something I'm not aware of. Like I didn't grow up having to be conscious of, okay, because you present as a man, but you're actually a female, and if I called you a man, you're offended by that. Like I wasn't, that was not my intent. I just assumed, which you right, we shouldn't make assumptions, but you can't jump down my throat for me not knowing the cultural nuance if the nuance is new.
Yeah, this is like radically new for
Yeah,
me.
for sure.
you know.
For sure.
So let's run this first clip so the audience can see exactly where we're going with this if they're not familiar with the Mackie interview. And shout out to, what's the platform? Was it Pivot something?
Yeah, the Pivot Podcast.
Yeah, they got like over 1.1 million. I would tell y'all to go look at it. Well, you can look at it, but shit, they got so many subscribers compared to what we got. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and run this, man, just to get it started, so y'all can see where we're going. So check this first joint out.
We don't see like a black superhero. Like, did it actually hit you that you are really fucking Captain America? Like, that's crazy, bro.
Me and my boy was having this conversation yesterday, and it's been weighing on my mind and my heart because it hasn't. I've been in the business 24 years, right? And I've seen people go from nothing to the biggest stars in the world. I've seen people go from one role to winning Academy Awards and doing all this shit. And what I realized yesterday thinking about it, we're lying to our kids, dog. And I think that's a big problem in our community. We tell our kids that and this is fresh on my heart, like I literally just came to this conclusion last night. We tell our kids if they do right and they make the good grades and they go to the programs and they will become successful. If you work hard enough, your work will be paid off. And that's not true. Success is given. It's not earned.
Very powerful. Very powerful.
That was earth-shakingly powerful. Because it's not the popular thing to say, and some people may get offended with even us agreeing with the suggestion of that, but that is reality. And a lot of your cases is just a matter of someone saying you over someone else.
Facts. And like in that interview, I watched the whole thing, and in that interview, he was talking about how he built relationships on set with people who gave him opportunities later, because that's what he was interested in. Like, he wanted to know the different facets. And when they seen, oh, okay, you really know your shit. Okay, well, stick around. Let me see what you doing. Then I'm gonna give you a shot at something else. Like, he talked about his role in 8 Mile was supposed to be 3 lines. Like, he was supposed to be there 2 days, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the relationships he built while he was there, he ended up, oh yeah, okay, well, we got this other part. I'm gonna develop out this part for you.
Right.
All because he was cool with the dude who was the principal photographer.
Right.
Because he understood it and was interested in how you shoot things.
Right. And they just wrote him all basically throughout the whole damn project. But on the subject of the first African American or African American Captain America,
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand if we understand how profound that is, because your original Captain America, now I'm gonna hit your older twist in a minute. From what we understand, is the gentleman on the white. I mean, on the the gentleman on the right.
On the white and the right.
Now, the individual that they're speaking with is the brother that is the gentleman on the left, the new Captain America. But here's a twist I like to throw you, and I like to get you guys to thinking out there a little bit. Let us know where you're from so we can give you a shout out too and give us some thumbs up. You're starting to see more of this right now, where the gentleman on the right, in this case, you know, you don't need to say much about that. What's understood need not be explained. But you're starting to see more of the gentleman on the left now, to where you're not so much starting to see the consistency of the right here and the right there. You're starting to see more of the left here and the left right there. Need I remind you of Kendrick Lamar's halftime special, where you had Samuel L. Jackson playing Dear Uncle Sam? I don't want us to miss out on the perspective that I think is being suggested, to where you're starting to see more of a forward-leaning, multicultural, and now we mean it in more than just race, but multicultural, multi-gendered type direction of a rebranding that I think it would be safe to say that America's going through.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and I do think, as the gentleman stated also, that we need to be aware and make sure our children are aware, not because we don't want them to try, not because we're not expecting them to go hard, that, you know, you're going to need more than working hard.
Definitely.
You're definitely going to need more than that. But let's move to the next clip.
Are doing our kids a disservice. We're lying to our kids, right? I would always say that people are lying to their kids when they tell them they can be whatever they want to be, because you actually can't be whatever you want to be. Right. Some things you don't have the potential to be.
Absolutely.
Right? And the thing that I got a lot growing up was you have to be twice as good. You have to be twice as smart. You have to work twice as hard. You have to know twice as much. That was your life, right? But there's still a proving ground for you that's going to be a different proving ground for someone of a different skin color that would have done the exact same things that you've done. But then you are now Captain America. What's more difficult? Convincing people that you are the correct replacement for one of Marvel Universe's truly just standout franchise faces, Chris Evans, or convincing the world that Captain America can be black?
Now, I've seen on it was Dana with the Data channel, and I seen, because she has Judge Joe Brown on there quite a bit, and she asked him about this statement, and I was shocked to know that originally Captain America was black back in the, like, I think he said like the late 60s, and that image was changed later. And it's like Black Panther, that whole franchise that was introduced to us, you know, and I was thinking it was new. Then after some research, we found out that Black Panther goes way back in Marvel's franchise, and he was originally, as he is now, a representation of ourselves. But I'm thinking, even though I'm not gonna lie to you, man, I kind of knew that was coming. Far as, because you just seen so many hints of it, almost through a lot of the Marvel stuff that you will watch, that they were going to make Captain America black.
Yeah. But
go ahead.
Like even he spoke to the shifting of the stories being told in that interview. He was saying that back in the early 2000s, the scripts, everything was white male or white teeth, white shoes, white. He was like,
yeah,
now
he did say that. He did say that.
Yeah, now the descriptions don't even exist.
Yeah, those were the descriptions in the actual script.
Exactly.
And it had those categories, but they're non-existent at this point. He did state that. Let's move on to this next joint.
My biggest hurdle was convincing myself. When you're given a huge opportunity like that, you have to take into consideration the possibility that you might fail. I never saw it happening, so when it happened, I was in shock. But then I got afraid. So then I had to lean on those teachers and those people around me who got me to that point. It was hard because I never figured out, and I still haven't figured out, what is there to convince people of. And that's why I say we're doing our kids a disservice. Like, I went to all those programs. I did all those movies. Everybody knows my resume. So who the fuck are you to question if I can do this?
And I would like to put this question to the people that's watching out there. When he was stating the part about the kids and things of that sort, as far as being selected and how hard you work and not being an exact representation of what your outcome is. Then the other gentleman stating that, you know, he feel that we've been lying to our kids because sometimes you just don't have the potential to be what you're saying that you want to be. I mean, I wouldn't know how to skate that fine line of telling my child that. Even though I understand the realism and what they're stating, but when do you introduce that idea to your child, or do you not introduce it and maybe wait for them to start struggling in certain areas and suggest? But I mean, how do you even suggest that for the people that's out there watching, man? I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, like how do you put a limitation on your child?
yeah, I mean, how do you even introduce that into a conversation with your child? Because we know that that's a reality of life. But is that something that you might start to maybe introduce to your child as in maybe late teens or early adulthood, where you start to say, well, hey, son, which I've seen some people do, because you got some of these damn jokers out here still thinking they're going to be a rapper at 40 and 50 years old. I
Facts.
think somebody should have probably had that conversation with them a long goddamn time ago.
Facts.
But in the beginning, when do you introduce that? Because I'm thinking, I know myself, even though, like I said, I was involved with criminal stuff and underworld, but who would ever thought, even though I was ice skating on the edge of destruction, but who would ever thought that a kid from Black Bottom, East Side, 6 Mile, Detroit, will end up over there in Kuyukon dealing directly with this man right here?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that that was ever the goal. It wasn't nothing that I imagined, but as adults, we know sometimes, as they say in geopolitics, whatever they call it, what they call it,
Geopolitics.
They call geopolitics. You got to prepare for that X factor or that black swan event, that one event that could change the course of everything. And those events do happen in our lives. Sometimes it could be meeting your wife, meeting your husband, or just meeting that one advocate at work, or it could be meeting your motherfucking nemesis.
Exactly.
That drives you to a whole nother level to achieve a lot more than you would be able to achieve in your normal capacity. So when is that introduced, or do you even have that conversation? I guess I'm just lost on that.
All I can speak to is the conversations I can recall having with my dad. And it was never a, you can't do it. It was more so a discussion of the dedication it's going to take to do that.
Okay.
And being honest with yourself.
Yeah. And that's the key. The honesty.
Yeah.
The honesty with yourself. I mean, because even you got this is another harsh reality, but it's real. You catch some men that go out and go after women that just not on their level. This may be a sensitive subject. I don't mean no disrespect to nobody. You know what I'm saying? And we encourage that. And I wish they had more of that going on now, because later in the video, we're going to be talking about kids not knowing how to talk to women, because they actually touch on that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then sometimes they get upset with the woman or whatever or feel rejected or feel they're being done wrong. Or am I ugly? If it ain't ugly, it's probably you're not at a certain level or certain status as of a certain point. So you have to be realistic in some cases. I'm not saying don't shoot the shot. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be realistic and know your percentage of success, and maybe not so much at the same
time. It's a numbers game.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Let's hit this next joint.
When you look at acting as it is now, and you talk about the changing landscape, how do you create longevity then?
By diversifying your portfolio. I mean, my problem now is this. I'm 46 years old, so I want to get into producing. I want to start curating the Anthony Mackie experience. Tyler Perry has shown us the mold.
Yeah.
Like, we don't get this motherfucker enough respect. What you think about his projects or whatever, this motherfucker has created the wheel, so it don't make sense for me to get a chisel and try to make another one. Like, the brilliance and the ingenuity in which he's executed this business is phenomenal. And we have to acknowledge that. No one else has been able to do that. He makes more money than most studios, right? So you have to curate your experience. Captain America was an Anthony Mackie curated experience because I produced it. Everything. I had to say on all that shit. You know what I mean? When they hired the director called me and was like, yo, I want to be on this movie.
Now, y'all might come from my head on this, but Tyler Perry, I do believe Tyler Perry is talented. I do believe Tyler Perry has a lot of ability. Maybe I ain't gonna say that, but when Tyler Perry first came out, he took the world by storm. I'll put it like that. Now, what Tyler Perry is doing, I don't know, and I'm thinking it might fall up under that category. And this may be controversial, but it might fall up under that category of what he stated in the beginning of being selected. Because I do believe at some point Tyler Perry was selected. I'm not saying that he's not talented. He is talented. I'm not trying to basically take nothing away from the brother. Love him to death. Wish him more and more and more and greater success. And if nothing else, as the gentleman said here, just a symbol of what he represents in the field that he's gotten. You know what I'm saying? But I do believe, of course, there was some help. But I'm also listening to what he stated far as about diversifying your portfolio meaning life. And I love what he said there because, and this is nothing, we just talking here. It's just freestyle conversation. For me, it's like looking at certain people that get into a job and work that job for 30 and 40 years in that same position.
Yeah.
And what he's saying, he put in the work, and some of that was cut out for the sake of time, to basically put himself in a position as Captain America that he was actually able to direct and make the decisions about how the image that he was taking on would be projected and put forth on a big screen with a crazy budget. And his work put him in that position from the different fields and different things that he did and different schools that he went to that put him in different positions with all types of different people to be able to have that on his resume. And I think at the end of the day, just people just living regular life, what's the goal? Is the goal to be at this point or this particular company for the rest of my life? Now, at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that if you can take care of yourself, take care of your family, and raise a productive family, and so on and so forth. But for me, and I'm sure for Thought, that ain't never the goal. Mm-hmm. The goal is like, what's the next lick? And exactly. I hate to say it in those terms, but what's the next lick?
Yeah.
If I
how do we elevate?
Yeah, how do we elevate? Does this position have a ceiling? Or can I break that ceiling? Right. Or can I move to the top of this to put me in a place for the next move? To elevate my life, elevate the life of my family, my kids, and so on and so forth. We're just talking about LeBron a few episodes back, and Stephen A. saying that, the NBA has always been a merit-based system, and that LeBron somehow messed that system up. Mm-hmm. But we don't say that when you got the Kennedys and how they came from bootlegging and put their kids in a position to be president and all this. We don't say that when you have some of these other celebrities that are, or government officials that put their
generational
kids. Exactly. Right. Do you think the Rockefellers?
We got two George Bush presidents.
You got two George Bush presidents, and one that was running, but that was the governor. You know what I'm saying? That had to be some cronyism in there, like a mother.
Yeah, and
then the Rockefellers. You think Rockefeller gonna say, well, you didn't earn this, son, so you can't? Hell no, it don't go like that.
Right.
So LeBron James earned political capital in the NBA, and he decided to spend some of it on his damn son.
Exactly.
But we are the ones who, man, it's merit-based. You shouldn't be doing that. You messing up the system has always been.
Right. And that man said that was his plan. He wanted to play with his son. He did it.
And he put
everybody mad?
He put himself in a position to spend that political capital
where they couldn't say no.
You know what I'm saying? And we want to be the first always to come against our own to do what has historically been done in this country, but we believe we're supposed to go along the way the system is organized for us to go when there's clearly another damn route.
Right.
You know, so I totally agree with what he said. I don't mean to overtalk you.
No. That's exactly to the point. Like, we seeing that exact situation play out in the music industry right now.
Facts. It's a lot playing out in the music industry because shit, right? I mean, we talking about doing a video on this that you know, America versus hip hop.
Exactly.
You know, you hear President Trump and all that talk about MS-13 gangs and all that, but I don't see none of them bringing none of them up in front of court like they doing and indicting and Rico and it's like they doing us. You know, so I mean, yeah. But let me go ahead and slide on this next joint, man.
I try to keep my boys outside of it. Like, I don't want my boys affected by it or even acknowledge the idea of what Hollywood is and what it means to the general populace. Because I want them to find their own path. And we're blessed. Like, we're put in a position where we can afford our kids the best. Mm-hmm. You know, we're in a position where our grandkids, our great-grandkids will be provided for. You know, we weren't like that.
Right.
You know, I know on the West Bank you wasn't like that.
No doubt.
Yeah, y'all ate, you know, Vienna sausages and poking beans, you know?
I did, though.
That's what I'm saying. But that's
up.
real.
Yeah.
You know, that's where we came from. I keep my boys humble. Like, my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. You know, my boys don't do all that internet fly shit. I'm like, your kids. And no, I don't give a f. I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid.
Okay. Shout out. My man Turtle up in this joint. Salute to you, family. And then I see my man Bushton pulled up in this thing. What's happening with you, my guy? Me and you was talking quite a bit yesterday, going back and forth. What's up? Glad to see you in here. And peace to you. Anybody else is in here, man, that you know want to tell us where you're from or whatever, you know, put it up here, man. I'll give you a shout out. And at the end of the day, man, hit them likes for us, man, and we're gonna continue to put on for you. But again, thanks for the pulling up again, Jones, and my man Turtle. Peace to y'all, brothers, man. Damn, what did he say there? I missed that whole damn. What was he saying there? Thought.
I missed it too.
Well, we're gonna run that back,
Yeah.
man. Cause I seen the family pulled up in here and wanted to get him a shout out, man. You know what I'm saying?
I try to keep my boys outside of it. Like, I don't want my boys affected by it or even acknowledge the idea of what Hollywood is and what it means to the general populace. Because I want them to find their own path. And we're blessed. Like, we're put in a position where we can afford our kids the best. Mm-hmm. You know, we're in a position where our grandkids, our great-grandkids will be provided for.
Okay, we can jump on in this thing now, man. I like what he's saying here, man, because he's describing the financial position that he's been blessed to put in to basically shield his kids from the demands or the I guess trying to follow in the steps of my father, or feeling the pressure of that, of trying to be an actor, or how you have some of these athletes trying to follow kids trying to follow their father and being athletic, and creating cultivating a perfect rearing environment, because money is not the issue. He's saying my kids and my grandkids are going to be okay financially, so they get the opportunity to be shielded from all these pressures and not allowing and putting the different trends on them, so their mind is free to grow and develop into what they feel, or a lane they feel they want to do, be in. And my financial success has put me in a position to be able to allow that to cultivate in its own genesis naturally. What you got here, Butch? Okay, that's what's good. That's what's up. Oh shit, I'm good. Butch, say, how you doing over there, Thought?
Oh yeah, I'm good. Just chilling.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So shit, you know, so I'm thinking that right there is important, because we know with some of us, our families didn't have the financial success. And as he spoke in reference later on that video, I cut it short, but I played it the first time, where the one brother was saying, you know, from the Bay or wherever you ate pork and beans and Vienna sausage. And we all, or a lot of us, know about pork and beans and hot dogs.
Right.
And that was the reality, or a lot of time, or mama cooking a pot of chili or a pot of spaghetti, and that better last you a few days. They call that them stretch meals to get you over a few days. So in my case, life hit me extremely early because the old man didn't have no job. The uncles was half time laying up on their sisters or whatever the case may be. So we were a different generation of men, and the streets came along in a way to hustle and earn. And, you know, we got out there and got it. So as we were getting it, mama didn't necessarily approve of it, but the rent was due. We needed food on the table. So mama had the time to look to us, and I guess that could be like a Michael Jackson situation, but under a different subject, where you weren't allowed to be a child and enjoy your childhood and grow off into what you can be. Look at me now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, after my whole drug thing that I was involved with, I'm writing books. You know, this is my book here, my volumes of my book. This is my book. This is a book I'm about to release. Who would have ever thought somebody that did this and was doing this would be writing damn books now? Because my true interest was history, archaeology, and things of that sort. But as we know, life starts to life, and you don't necessarily get the opportunity to pick what the hell you want to pick. You know what I'm saying? What you got, Turtle? Hey, Jones, Turtle talking to you, trying to find out what's happening. Let that man know what's shaking with you, baby. You know. Sorry to cut you off, Thought.
Oh no, but yeah, that's always been the issue with, especially, well, I won't even just say specifically black. I say men from poverty.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been the motivation. The pressure of relieving the situation has always been the motivator.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
For whatever your lane was. For some people it was sports. For some people it was entertainment. For some niggas it was the block.
and Butcher speaking of that right here. We say financial wherewithal and generational wealth would have changed many lives. And oh my God, I wish I could have helped with mine. Growing up in Detroit through the 60s, 70s, and 80s and beyond. And that was the reality, man. There was no money. If you didn't get the opportunity to be grandfathered into one of them plants,
Yep,
or went to the military, you had no way to earn at all. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, Turtle? Jones hollering at you, baby.
I definitely remember a point where it was like getting a job at the plant, like it was gate kept. Like, I mean, like you had to know somebody to get you up in that joint.
You had to go to your uncle or your somebody, man, get me in the plant, get me in the plant.
Right. And they had to talk with you, like, all right, I'm gonna get you in this bitch with you. When I get you in there, don't embarrass me.
I don't know about one situation where no one got motherfuckers up there, because they always act like they were the shit, and then the whole thing they want to get a move to the west side and buy a house. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Turtle, I wanted to tell you so bad that wasn't the Bush Jones that you were referring to, because I actually know him, but I wanted to let Jones speak for himself. Plus, the way Jones write, man, Jones be having me scared to write him back a lot of times, because that nigga writing and punctuate is prolific. For sure. Let's put this next joint up, man. This one gonna be heavy here.
In the past 20 years, we've We've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities, for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that.
Right. I love that statement, because when he stated it, he said, however you feel about that, you feel about that.
Exactly.
This is what I'm standing on. My boys are going to be young men. I see you over there clowning, Turtle. Cut that shit out now. Yeah. But basically saying, I'm standing on that. I'm teaching my boys to be men. But it's like the word man is redefined, as we started the video off saying. You know, what we understand, Turtle and Jones and some of our folks out there listening, a man to be is not the way it's defined today. Because when you exert, I'm thinking I'm saying the right word, your masculinity, it's like you a damn terrorist or something, or like you're a bully or you taking advantage. No. Exerting masculinity from the era that we were in, come up in, is basically when things going haywire, and we need to exert that masculinity to protect our kids, our home, or whatever, and be the one to step out in front of that damn bullet. That's what that was, because we were being, in its traditional sense, being willing to sacrifice ourselves for our family or our loved ones. And okay, Trevor, that's another message for you. To exert our manhood to protect. And then you had women from our era that, you know what I'm saying, wasn't offended by us being aggressive in certain certain situations and taking control of the family, because they understood the purpose for it. And as the statement goes so often, what I kill, I eat. So if you mine, woman, then I'm willing to go to the mat for you. I'm willing to lay it all down for you. But how can you expect me as a man, in a traditional sense, to be willing to jump out there for you, to take a bullet for you, to defend your femininity or your right to do or express yourself in whatever way, if there's not even a commitment to even protect me when I get home and I need to eat, or I need to replenish myself before I got to go back out in the field and get this paper? You know what I'm saying? What Turtle got here? Primo, I find it strange that there's a term called toxic. Exactly. Toxic masculinity, but there's no toxic femininity. You absolutely right. And you speak directly to the point right there. Because as he stated, and I'm going to run it back one more time, you know what I'm saying? We're being robbed of that. And it has to be, in my mind, and I don't even think it's just in my mind, it has to be systematic. But let me run this back.
In the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities, for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that.
Right. And I'm going to put back up what Turtle just said, because what Turtle just said was some real shit, man. There it is right there. And you got people and then I'm just so torn, man. I'm so torn with it, because that's not how we grew up, man. That's not how we grew up. And I understand, because y'all that know that's around our age, the older, our mothers and our grandparents, they were down on us. They thought we was going to destroy the goddamn world, man. Y'all just be honest. They thought we was going to destroy the world. We was going to go to hell in the handbasket, because some of us had our pants off of our bottom and we was doing rap music. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't turn out that way at all. So I kind of want to give these young people an opportunity to define their own vision forward? Because let's just be honest. Shit, they got next. No, they got now. We on deck. We on deck to go that other way.
And the crazy thing
if you know what I'm saying,
is I feel we're doing them a disservice if we don't find a way to translate this wisdom that we got into them. Like I understand, like some of them are hard headed, and like Mo, like any young person would be, but I feel like culturally, sometimes we do them a disservice by not trying to build a bridge there, that communication bridge. Now I get some of them are, but a lot of them will listen.
Well, see, you in a position as you will be an older millennial, like almost
for sure.
X, right?
Yeah, for
so
sure.
You that tweener spot. What's up, so I'm happy to see you up in here again, baby. For sure. Good to see you. You at that tweener age, you basically, I remember I read an article when I was in the Fed joint. And the article was basically saying that at that point, the millennial was coming of age and was entering the workforce, and they were beefing with the generation before us was it baby boomer?
Yeah.
Okay, they were beefing with the baby boomer, and it was a battle inside the workplace, and it was Generation X that was needed to basically define what the baby boomer was saying to the millennial and basically be the peacekeeper between the two. But now it's happening to where you are the older millennial and you're familiar with the experience of Generation X, but you're also in tune with the generation of yours and beyond you. So you translate, because you do it a lot. Like when I had Niecy and she about to crash out, and you could define what I was saying to her. It's like we were right there saying that, but we couldn't actually communicate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Frankfurt School of Learning said their mission was destruction of the West through sexual perversion. And you know what, Jones, you gave me a book, put me up on a book, and I never got a chance to finish reading this damn book. I got it right here. Man, this book right here that the brother Jones put me up on, man, this damn book here is phenomenal, but I didn't get a chance to get all the way through it, and it was actually suggesting at some point, help me out on this, Jones, if I'm messing up, it was actually suggesting that at some point that the elite aristocratic class over in Europe was planning for the transition that's going on as far as the people of color coming into power and the depreciation of their own. Like I said, I haven't finished reading the joint. I just got a little bit into it, but I wasn't able to get, because this one of the books, sometimes you get books that you got to be locked in on and just pay full attention, because it'll escape you. The Frankfurt School of Learning. Okay. Yeah. But where we at now? Now this is what the brother has been going through since he suggested what he suggested, along with what Turtle had just said and spoke to about the whole toxic male and all that little fiasco right there. But check out what the community or certain communities try to do with the brother, just because he said he's trying to raise his sons in a certain fashion.
You guys are canceling Captain America for teaching his sons masculinity? Don't scroll, I'm gonna play the clip. But they're mad at him on Twitter saying that who is he to teach his sons the definition of a man and say that it has to do with masculinity?
Past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities, for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that. But
he then proceeds to say they'll always be respectful, do things that he feels a man should do, have their own minds, don't be influenced by others. That puts Twitter in a frenzy, saying that who is he to say what it means to be a man? Saying that for him to be teaching masculinity to his kids, stating that that's what it means to be a man, is toxic and is basically him undermining the community. Where did y'all get this from? You guys are calling this man all types of names on Twitter, trying to cancel him for teaching his sons what he feels is the correct way to be a man. Is that what we've come to now as a generation? Like, now it's to the point where you can't even openly say, I'm raising my boys to be men. You can't say that no more? Yo, this is crazy, bro. You know what? Peace, love, prosperity to everybody. Leave this man alone.
Thank you for confirming what I had said, Jones. Appreciate that. But that speaks right there to what Turtle was just saying. He said that whole little word right there, toxic. He said it. He said it for us already. And he mentioned that word toxic when Turtle mentioned that concerning just the male principle. The masculine principle is now identified as toxic. So, like I said, it leads you to wonder, what's the fucking goal here? I mean, I got ideas on it. I'm not going to lie. And as the brother Jones said, to not get too far in the weeds, I could take you in a whole direction that I think, or that I'm pretty sure that they're trying to take us in. Because as I stated before, and I'll show this again, the whole play with turning Captain America from the right to the left and turning Uncle Sam's image from the right to the left, and y'all understand what I'm saying, is rebranding. That's what it is. This is straight up rebranding. You know what I'm saying? And it's important for us to recognize this rebrand. What you got, Jones? The plans from these social planners were to create. Yeah, you're right. But Jones, what I'm saying is that for the purpose to not have resistance? Now, I have a controversial concept that I want to get off when you're talking about the androgynous and, clearing the distinction between male and female, because I'm actually thinking about writing a book on this. I'm gonna come back to that, Jones, because I want to drop something heavy on y'all, but don't come for me, man. Don't come for me. This is just something that I think that I see, and from a historical perspective. So don't come crack my head, man. When we here, we family, man, and we kicking it. What the fuck you at, Sosa? I don't see your ass out there now. Sosa always quiet and shit. But that's what this is. This is a free thought. This is a as I was telling Jones, this is like a think tank, man. We get together and we talk and we throw out ideas. There's no judgment here, on this side. What you got, Turtle? They're offended because he said he's raising this. Yeah, to be men, because it appears to be a threat. It appears to be a threat for where they're trying to go or how they perceive the rebranding of this new version of America that I believe is coming along. If you're not men, what do you? I mean, is that androgynous thing that Jones was just talking about? That's exactly where these plans are. Go back almost 100 years. Yeah, and it's in that book you had put me up on too, Jones. It's multifaceted. Yeah, and the thing about it, Thought be talking about this all the time, how it's multifaceted and how they phase it in every so often, or a generation and things of that sort. So you're right.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, you want the knowledge? You want the knowledge? Okay. Now listen, I'm gonna classify this as me going off in the silly season. So y'all can't try to hold my foot to the fire on this shit, right? Okay. Here we go. You asked for it, here you go. If we agree that our bodies is not who we actually are, that our soul is the actual presence of who we are inside of a body. So we're souls inside of a body. So the question is, does a soul have a sex? Or is a soul androgynous? androgynous, androgynous in representation or appearance, but not with no organs of reproduction even represented. Because there's a form of androgyny that is the sexes are, well, is bisexual, where the sexes are represented but not active within one body. We do know that at one point that man had both sexes in one body. How do we know this? Because there's a term hermaphrodite. If I'm correct, thought that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that means both sexes represented, even if they're both are not active. And there are ancient descriptions of man being able to reproduce with himself without anything outside of himself based on the phases of the moon. So we know that the signs of, and I'm gonna get to y'all comments in a minute, the signs of Aquarius, what is that? Aquarius, Pisces, so on and so forth, that's going counterclockwise. I think the celestials move clockwise or something like that. Jones probably correct me on that. You know what I'm saying? And the God stated that this clock was put in place to have us to where we don't have a, let's say, if you're familiar with the Bible, another Temple of Babel to where we raise too fast and go too high and become as powerful as them. And we're a pretty enlightened group. So if that is the theory, and I'm pushing y'all here, if that is the theory, we're entering from Pisces, which is represented by the two fish, or the fish that's up on the Pope's head and all that, from Pisces into, as Jesus said to Matthew, I believe, into the house of the waterman, which is Aquarius. Aquarius is an androgynous sign because it's all mental. And there is theory that the separation of the sexes was all created by the mind. I would like, I mean, like I said, this is silly season, man, and I'm I'm pushing y'all kind of hard on this. Okay, but you said yes. Okay, so I see you out there. You be off in the cut, so motherfucker. Let me find out you used to be a jack boy back in your day. Let me find out. No, I'm just fucking with you. So I'm showing you now, but just picking at you, man. What you got, Jones? Okay, Jones over here hollering at Turtle. Okay, Turtle shot him something back. That's what's up. But like I said, man, that was just a side thought, man. And thank you, Turtle. I appreciate that. It's a side thought. And at the end of the day, I'm going to throw this and I'm going to move up off this so we can get back on the subject. But Jones, you be starting shit. You be having me go off on tangents and shit. The thing about this is our books, we know our books were stolen. And our book, not see, I want to do something on it, but y'all have to let me know if y'all want me to do it, because this is deep, man. This is deep. I have books where you had, I think it was Bobby Hemmett, if y'all familiar with the brother, Bobby Hemmett. And I found the books with it in there that stated that the priest of Egypt, no, Tahuti, or Thoth, or Hermes, as the Greek would say, told the priest of Egypt to start going to the walls and start writing our story on the walls. And they asked him why. He said, because at some point soon, we will forget who we are. We will forget who we are. But write it on the walls, so when we start to return back to consciousness, we will be able to go to the walls and read it and return back to our former selves. And they spoke of this form of man that will come along that would take us from one spot to where we are to where we will return. And they spoke of it as a new Genesis beginning in the age of Pipe, in the ending, well, in the beginning of, I believe, Aries, going through Pisces and returning back in the age of Aquarius. Look at what's going on in the world. I know we're going kind of far with this, man, but Jones, you started. I don't know why I'm letting you start me and get me in trouble here. Okay, Jones, I see, so I follow where you're going and what you're saying. It is deep, man. It is deep. You see that thought? He started shit, man. Look at that. Do it. It's geeking me up to go crash out. Yeah, peace to the brother Bobby Hemmett, man. But yeah, let me get on back on this subject because Jones started shit, Sosa. You gotta tell Jones, leave me the hell alone. Okay, we're gonna go on this next.
And my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he gonna straighten the other ones out. Mm-hmm. So it's just that thing of, but my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open the door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And that's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night. This alarm is on. You text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up.
I love that.
Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, motherfucker climb through the window, that money means nothing.
Right.
You can have all the celebrity in the world, motherfucker jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing.
Yeah.
So you got to have a little guard in there,
This sounds like music to my ears. Just hearing it. It's just refreshing hearing that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it hurts my soul because as we're stating in here, we're all just talking with each other. It's like that slipping away, or should I say have slipped away, to where it's so damn foreign of a normal way of life that we were all raised, that we identified with, to now it's being classified, as the brother Turtle said, as toxic masculinity.
But the crazy thing is, right, they don't look at the society of the rest of the world.
What the thing about it, he speaks to that as we got a few more clips. But I hate that he classifies it, and I can understand him classifying it as American masculinity.
Yeah.
Is because he's Captain, well, from my perspective, being Captain America now is certain things that you probably shouldn't be saying if you want to continue to be Captain America.
Yeah.
So how you describe masculinity is safe in the era of Trump to describe masculinity as American.
For sure.
So I totally get that. But I don't know if this is a war we're going to win. I mean, it appears as if, I always like to use this term, it appears as if the East got next and the South is on deck as well. And us moving toward this rebranding, because it's going to be safe for America to rebrand, as we see here, from right to left, from right to left. And as I stated earlier, as somewhat a form of a proof, when Kendrick Lamar put forth his version of Uncle Sam via Samuel L. Jackson. This is where we're going. And yeah. I mean, I'm hopeful. Let's move to this next. I'm sorry, Star. Go ahead.
That's the good and bad thing about social media right now. Like it has the potential to spread positive ideas, and it can also twist ideas. So that's why like I'm hopeful but not optimistic.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Jones say, remember, brother, you just put a dude in a spot in the Jeffries off rip. uh, just start them out in the direction and start them out directing customers first. Okay. Well, you got a damn good point there. You got a damn good point there. Um, if you try building a society of fearful, feeble males, demonizing, that definitely seems like that's the goal. And giving everybody a trophy at the
Yeah,
end of the day.
it does. Like demonizing masculinity would make complete perfect sense.
Yeah, it does.
It's as we didn't discuss in some of our other videos. We hold on, what's going on with bro? Oh, he must be experiencing a little technical difficulty.
Who that?
But yeah, like I was saying,
Oh, me, no.
it's definitely a societal shift that's happening. And we've discussed it in some of our previous videos about how everything needs to be reclassified. So
How do you
sexuality
how do
needs
you
to be
define
reclassified.
how do you define reclassified?
Race is being reclassified.
Oh, yeah,
Nationality is being reclassified.
yeah,
So
yeah. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
it's
I mean,
a point of what can we save? Because we've already lost a lot.
well, this is what I think. I mean, and I'm sure Jones gonna follow me on this. Um, we were brought out of not us, but the world was brought out of the dark ages before by some people, and most people may not know this, by the Muslims. They're the ones that translated when they had that Renaissance in Europe and all that. Those were the ones that translated all those books from Greek over into whatever language and different things of the sort. And our people as Muslims re-civilized the world because all those kings and queens over there, according to history, were illiterate. And a reflection and a proof of that would be how the Vatican was over there pimping them because they couldn't read a lot of the treaties and shit they were signing to end up putting the Pope in the position that he's in and has enjoyed for millennia now. But that's a whole nother subject. So I believe with the rise of who I said I believe got next, that it will be a return to that. But let me hit y'all with something man. Just, I'm going to silly season. I'm about to go into silly season. Let me warn y'all. Let me know if y'all want me to go into silly season. I'm about to hit y'all with another abstract thought. Gender is now 70. Oh, damn. Yeah. Because because if you look up him,
Right?
you look up her, and they'll tell you it's not male or female, and it could also mean it. I mean, so yeah, you're right. You are absolutely right, Jones. Have y'all ever thought? Because as the brother said, American masculinity, but we understand what he means. That man's man in America. We know Europeans have always had a different version of male. You know what I'm saying? So we get that. But the American, as he described it, male, was a different form of male, masculine, as the Spanish say, macho, even though how we know how some of them get down over there. I had a book by is it Carl Jung? What is it? You know, the psychiatrist that was comparable to not Skinner, but Freud. But
I believe it was Carl Jung.
Carl Jung. Okay. Carl Jung wrote in a book in the early 1900s. He wrote that at some point, America. Okay, yeah, Jones said, yeah, you said it too. Thought America would be in a tough position with the East. He spoke about the rise of Islam. He said Islam or the East was not materialistic, but the West was materialistic. He said, now what happens when it comes time for you to negotiate with someone that don't value or want nothing you got? And he predicted in the early 1900s that this will become an issue for America. Now, you look at the rise of feminism and all of this, for whatever reason you got. And then you have the destruction of the male identity. You like this type of shit, Joan. But I mean, we about to hit something. I'm about to hit y'all with an abstract thought. I hope y'all ready. I hope I ain't offended nobody. But like I say, this is just family. We having free thought here. If you're concerned about, because we know the whole European idea is not, they don't mess with Islam and all of that. But if you're concerned about that, how would you defend yourself from that if you have the culture? Because as you become the lead of anything, your culture spread it around the world. But if you look for a defense to defend, how would you do it? This is what I think. This is an abstract thought. This is what I think. The Muslim religion that spread it heavily in the East and South, the whole concept of femininity, the way we subscribe to it over here and in the West, they don't buy that shit. A woman working, a woman is going to have certain identities and positions that she have to fulfill as well as the man. There's a structure for that. The way the women dress and all, they're not buying that. And they definitely don't approve of any form of same-sex anything. Right here, we're not speaking against nobody. I'm introducing a thought. So if I want to stop you and your culture from possibly invading my culture and possibly putting me in some type of security type situation, I turn the women over here, women first, women's live, women. And then I start to turn the men feminine. So if the East start to rise, there's going to be a rejection from the people. And then hopefully you will start to have the concepts of women's live start to spread over in Africa and these different places to start revolutions over there to slow them governments down by saying, you don't have no right, women. Over here, we have rights. Your people are doing you this, that, and other. And it starts to, you see what I'm saying? I mean, what y'all think about that? Let me catch on some of these comments. Jones, the Moor/Islam brother, ruled Spain, Sicily, and France, part of France, because they ran into problems with Martel the Hammer that pushed them back. Even though they get mad when you say this, they had to pay tribute to the brothers of so much gold and silver per annually and so many versions annually. And within my mind, when they had that Inquisition, when they got back control of the the western part that we were in, after 711 years or so many years, they went on that Inquisition and burned all the women by the stake. Those were the women that I believe we got a hold to over them period of them giving them virgins and taught them the sacred knowledges, and they wanted to destroy that. So you spot on, brother. Carl Jung, okay. Yes, sir. Okay, it's a great video on Carl Jung titled The Control. Oh, damn. On the cutting through the man, that man there. And like I said, I studied they were in school, they were trying to push Freud. But when I ran past him, because Freud deal with is more of like a Greek form of psychology, only dealing with the materialistic part of things. Carl Jung actually deals with I believe in that he used the word psyche, meaning the spirit, and the way that he's using it. And he evaluates the spirit as well, along with the materialistic part of the body. Boy, we going deep for real. I'm gonna stop talking to you, John. I'm gonna start talking to you because Sosa don't appreciate all this shit. Because I ain't heard from Sosa no more. I ain't heard from Turtle or nobody. You just taking over the whole damn conversation, John. About to stop fucking with you. Let's move to this next video. Now, this next point right here is gonna be crazy. So I hope y'all ready for it. It's actually along the lines we talking somewhat.
That American male masculinity is something I think is very important for boys, because now our little boys are afraid to fail, so they don't try. You know what I mean? When we were kids, we did tackle drills. We would run face first into each other.
We just talked about it. They shot. Dudes don't even talk to a woman face to face.
They don't know how no more, because women they are so mean and so angry, bruh. I saw this. My nephew was talking to this girl. Oh my God, dude, she just killed him. I mean, he was like, "Excuse me, how you doing?" She goes, "Ugh." How do you come back from that? He just walked over to me. I gave him his beer. I was like, "There you go, bro." That didn't happen. Let's start over.
I mean, who would ever think that? Well, we all know a lady would never do nothing like that. But that's part, again, of what Turtle talking about, that masculine female. And you actually having women that's identifying as I'm a masculine female. I mean, what the fuck they do that at? Why would you want to do that? You was about to say something, Thought?
No, I was just saying, I don't know if anybody familiar with Thomas Calhoun and his rat utopia experiments.
I remember you told me about that, yeah.
So he ran experiments with rats designing a perfect society, right? And what they found was it breaks itself into different stratas on its own. And the characteristics look just like our society today. Characteristic number one was the wealthy isolated themselves with all of the resources, but they became less masculine because they had no struggle.
Good point. Because the super wealthy, they do seem rather, as Jones said, androgynous.
Exactly. I think Elon be having them kids trying to prove a point.
Yeah, clearly. My brother just gave me a recommendation here. He said, "Priest brother, you dropping information so deep you may want to clarify some of this for the chat simply, clearly, and succinctly." I think that's the word, because I can't read word for shit. Just make it plain for the people. Jones, I have always had this problem, even when I was hustling. And I mean, even now, thought helps me, because I'll get to saying stuff that I think is regular conversation, and he'll have people that'll come back to like, what the fuck this nigga just say? And I know what you're saying, but I don't know how to really talk like that, because I think what I'm saying is simple because how it come to me, but I know what. But let me say this: I'm not promoting for myself any form of same-sex activity for myself. I'm speaking for me. I'm not saying that this is something that people that identify with the form of male, that American male, that Anthony Mackie is stating that they should be interested in this type of thing. If that's your thing, I'm not saying that it should not be. In the base of how society is now, and where it appears that things are going, it's just that I can see that, within my opinion, that it can be weaponized to a degree, because I don't look at America per se alone. I try to look at the world. And a lot of time as Americans, I am American, I'm a proud American, I love America. We look within the domestic confines of America and we think in terms of a worldview when there's actually a world out there. So I look at that and I compare that according to how I know history and the precedence of it, to try to get a hedge on where I think this thing is going. And sometimes for monetary reasons, I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm not projecting that out. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to introduce different thoughts, you know. Turtle, that's the androgynous behavior. Oh, okay. Yeah. I ain't saying Turtle. Let it down, Turtle. Talk to us too. I'm jealous. Like, I'm just playing. Yeah. But yeah, I hope I clarified that some for some that may be a little confused on that, or whatever the case may be. We got one more clip for y'all. It's like 2 minutes, and then we're gonna go and get out y'all way because we run along a little bit. So we know some of y'all got church and things like that. So here you go.
I think I'm sneaking on brother to brother.
Perry? Perry?
Because you kissed a man. Like, now, I've heard you say in the past, like, some people told you that would kill your career to be gay. Like, just channeling those roles, but just getting in that mind frame, that mindset of doing roles that really ain't you.
Right.
You was married, got 4 sons, but now you kissing a man, like channeling that. You kissed a man.
He's different.
He
I was worried about that.
Hey, I was worried about him because he ain't had no facial hair, and I don't really feel like you can trust a black man with no facial hair.
That booty face. Nah, I grew that shit right back.
At least that little thin one.
Hey, I don't like that, though.
Growing up in the South in the 90s and 80s, you grow up homophobic, sexist, and racist. Now, we talking about the 80s and the 90s. That's just a fact. You know what I mean? So when I got to school, my roommate was gay. Like, I didn't know how to deal with that. Like, my brother's gay. I didn't know how to deal with that. So being a man, I used my art to better myself. I played Perry so that I could understand my brother better. So I could understand my friends better. Going to art school, a bunch of my friends were gay. You know what I mean? Like, when I was a kid, we had a record label. We had the first gay rapper. Nobody gave a f***. You make good music, nobody care. You know, Big Frida is famous.
Here, for sure.
For sure. You know what I mean? So the idea of being gay in New Orleans has always not only been supported, but it's been a part of the culture. But with me, I needed to figure out what was my holdup, what was my insecurity about that. And once I played that role, I realized everybody deserves to be loved. It's not my job to say who you love or who should love you. If you loved, I'm happy for you. That don't mean I'm gay.
He dropped a whole lot in that clip, and it's subjects that I really don't want to touch. You know, so.
we ain't gonna go that direction.
Yeah, we'll let that stand on his own. You know what I'm saying? And perceive whatever you perceive from it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Based on the conversation we've had.
Yeah. So but here's the thing. The brother Jones said something else to me, and I think I see what he's saying now. Peace, brother. I guarantee some may not or don't, whatever, know exactly who Tahuti and its significance. Brother, you and Thought are bringing some unbelievable discussion and topics. Yeah, man, like I told you, when we was talking on the sideline, Jones, this is really Thought's idea, and he really pushed me in this area. But these are conversations that me and him would have all the time. And he said, this is something that we need to jump out here and share with the brothers, man, or just like-minded people and different, not only black people, just whoever is along the line of thinking. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what got me into it. And then, you know, I have thoughts that are extreme, abstract sometimes. And I share some of them, a lot of them I hold back. And I try to do it in some of the videos that we do to just show, as we were talking about the other day, show alternative ways of looking at things, you know, because that's similar. And I'll go off into Tahuti. That's similar to Tahuti again. Tahuti is the original name of Thoth. The Greeks came along later and called him Hermes. You see the Hermes bags and all that? Okay. Hermes, they made into a man with wings on his feet, and or was that Mercury or one of them? Anyway. And Tahuti or Hermes, or more commonly known as Thoth, is where your word thought comes from. Some would say. He was accredited with teaching man mathematics, writing, philosophy, and all these different things. That did not come from the Greeks, like rebranding of history tries to teach. So that's who Tahuti is. But for the sake of just people being more familiar, we'll just say Hermes of Thoth. Okay. Thoth was known as the messenger of the gods, and talking to man and giving man messages to basically bring man into what we define as a civil state. Okay, so that's what he is. They came along later, and they named Thoth thrice something. It kind of slips me a little bit, but they recognize the majority, as Herodotus stated, that the Greeks put an age on all of their gods, and they put an age on their gods. And I believe this was Dr. Henry Clark that wrote this. They put the age on the gods based on the date that they became aware of them. The Greeks were not allowed into Egypt to be taught. When the Persians came in and conquered Egypt, I believe it was Cyrus the Great that started to allow them in. This is actually in, excuse me, guys. This is actually in this book right here that I'm going to release, because I'm explaining all this, but I'm explaining how I call this the spiritual currency, but I put currency there so it don't intimidate people. I wanted to put the spiritual economy and explain to you how the spiritual economy turns into the basis of the economy that we have today. That's what this book will be about. And it will give you the history going back in BC. I know we left him on his thought and what he said, but let me just share this with y'all before we get out your way. I've studied and I've saw a pattern. We talk about Alexander the Great. Let me lead this book up as I talk. We talk about Alexander the Great, and we talk about he conquered all of the known world, or whatever the case may be. But where Alexander the Great conquered, he conquered Egypt, he conquered Persia, and he conquered India. Those three were the centers of all knowledge, financial, currency, and empire. And what he did upon conquering those areas, he at some point died, his generals took over, but what they did, I would classify it as stole. Some might look at it a different way. And they brought all of those books to a central area. And that area ended up being called the Library of Alexander, even though that was not the original name. And the government of Egypt subsidized bringing Greeks in to study those books. You have, according to Dr. Henry Clark, you have, what's the motherfucker that taught Alexander this law? Was it Aristotle?
Yeah.
Or one of them. He's supposed to have wrote hundreds of books within a 2 or 3 or however many year period. And they assumed that he plagiarized them. And I guess I couldn't agree. Okay, now within these Greek philosophers come to study, and it's proof. What you need to look up is the word museum. That's where the word museum comes from. I can't spell it right now, I'm a word speller, but like I said, it's in the book once I release it. And this museum is where they brought these people over, and they started to pay them to stay there. They fed them and all that. And they had the priests of Egypt teaching these men. But they took the books of Egypt, and they took the scrolls and books out of India as well as Persia and brought them all there for these men to study. Okay? Now, within that process, you had the general that was Bartholomew, was it the first? Sotor. If you look up the meaning of Sotor, S-O-T-O-R, I believe it is, you will find that means savior. There was a particular priesthood out of Thebes that agreed to follow suit and make another god. Make another god because Bartholomew Sotor had a problem with all the Greek people coming in and worshiping all gods of. So this particular priesthood agreed to do that. He put this priesthood in power and gave them a lot of money. And then what happened after that, the new god that was created, this god, Coptic priest, you're right, Butch, you're right. Damn, what was I at? This particular priesthood made Sotor, Bartholomew first Sotor, into a god. And it mixed the Apis bull with Osiris. And this god, and you can Google all this god was named Serapis. Serapis the Savior. And I'll pretty much let it go there. But again, that's what where we at here. That's what this whole book will be about, but it's going to tell you how the financial system came out of that. And I guess we could say it's somewhat to what they say the forbidden fruit is.
Mm-hmm.
Once you bite that and see it, you can never unsee it. We got Jones right here. Where you at, Jones? Herodotus, and I can't pronounce that, but I know this Greek name. Y'all look at it because I can't read that good. I'm okay. And glad we're friends. You and thought would be dangerous as this thinking.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And he's right here, the Coptic priest, but they went under another name back then. I'm going to say to you that's still watching, how come there has only been one country in Africa that has never, ever been colonized. Ptolemy was the first. That speaks for itself. That speaks for itself. Well, listen, man, we appreciate y'all, man. And I hope there ain't too many of y'all offended with us, because it's Jones' goddamn fault now. It's Jones' goddamn fault.
Yeah, y'all pulled us off into a little rabbit hole right quick. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and this went a whole nother way. So I mean, this video will definitely be an acquired taste.
You know.
Definitely. But yeah, for y'all that's interested, man, this book right here, and I'm gonna get out y'all way, me and Thought. This book right here, I had to take off like 2 months, and my baby mama helped me out with this. Thought actually did the cover and all of that. I had to take off 2 months of work, man, because it's like I was being, I hate to use the word haunted, but you guys out there that's understanding, familiar with the whole process, I couldn't sleep, man. I was waking up in the middle of the night. I mean, I was going through, I couldn't sleep. And I kept telling my baby mama, I gotta get this out of me. I gotta get it out of me. And I mean, I thank God for her, man, because, you know, as you say, I write Sloan, you know what I'm saying, in a different language, you know, and she helps me with what the brother Jones just pointed out, where people can understand what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we should be releasing this soon, you know, and, you know, I would like for y'all to check it out and give me your opinion on it, man. You know, so that's that. What Jones got another comment here. Serapis, who they made him out to be, will blow. Yeah, man, I almost didn't want to introduce that, Jones. I almost didn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? If they look up Museum and look at that, they're gonna be yeah. And in that book, there's a term called the donation of Constantine. And in I ain't gonna say that. Y'all just got to read the book. But it's deep. But like I say, we appreciate y'all, man. If y'all will be so kind, man, to give us some thumbs up, some likes or whatever. We know this video went a whole nother way. It's gonna be an acquired taste for many. But I believe we creating our own little family, man, our own little tribe, to where we get in and we communicate and kick it with each other. And I would hope we could over time get a lot of subscribers and things of that sort. But I know this ain't for everybody. But for those of you that relate to this and understand this, I could only ask, and I'm sure Thought would agree, that y'all share it with y'all friends, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Share it with your friends.
If you got a friend who y'all discuss these type of topics, share it.
Yeah, share it, man, so we can build our family, be bigger, man, and we can really get into some other things, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, we can
just jump on the sideline, you know, and do some real stuff. Because me and Thought be kicking about some crazy stuff, man, to what most people think. But the thing about it, a lot of shit we be kicking it with, and that's why I want to do the videos too, to get on the record so people can start to see it. We be calling a lot of shit before it be happening, man. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
No, Jones, man, don't apologize, man, because at the end of the day, whatever the great mother or whatever people like to classify it is, want to come out, it's gonna come out, man. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I understand when you get a chance to get with folks that you're on the same vibe or whatever, I mean, you can't help but just want to kick it, man. So I get it. And that's what this space really is for, man. You know, we don't get enough views and no shit to make no money off this. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
But oh yeah, the scientist's name was John Calhoun. It was called the Rat Utopia Experiment.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember you
you
told
can
me about
find
that.
some videos on YouTube about it. Pretty interesting. When you look at our society versus the results of that, pretty interesting.
It lines up real crazy.
Pretty interesting.
Real crazy. All right, but peace. Oh, you done? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, peace to y'all, man. Like, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. And we'll catch up with y'all in a minute, man. All right.
Yeah.